This is the MG3. Now MG, formerly Morris Garages, kind of still is the fastest growing, or one of the fastest growing brands in the UK. What do I mean by MG being one of the fastest growing? Surely it's a homegrown brand from here. Yes, but it kind of had a reboot when SAIC from China actually took it over. The MG4, which is their sort of compact entry-level EV SUV, has been doing really well for them, has won lots of awards and accolades. I reviewed it, I really liked it. It's good value as well for what it was, and thus emboldened, they've now introduced the third generation of this, which is the MG3, which is their Supermini segment. This is not an EV though, this is a hybrid, and it's a complex hybrid because it runs in a number of different ways. It has several modes. It's not modes that you can select, it's modes that it actually does. So for example, it has the full EV mode. So actually this hybrid actually has got bigger batteries to try and run more like an EV rather than a hybrid, and thereby keeping emissions as low as possible. So it's got a bigger electric motor as well. So EV mode, it just runs on EV series. That's where the engine runs through the generator to power the electric motor to drive the car. Then you've got series and charge, which is basically the same as series, but also it's now the engine is also running to charge up the battery as well when it's under low charge. Then you've got drive and charge, where the engine directly drives the wheels. So at that point it directly drives the wheels, but it's also charging the battery as well. And then you've got parallel, where the engine and the electric motor both combined drive the wheels. So there's a number of different things that it does. Combined, it actually gives you 192 brake horsepower. It's got a 100 kilowatt motor in it, but it's also got a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine. It gets a 0 to 62 miles per hour time of about 8 seconds, which is pretty quick in the segment, and 106 miles per hour top speed with a fuel economy of 64 miles per gallon quoted. I saw 64.7 over 100 miles, a mixture of motorway and through London driving the other day. CO2 emissions is 100 grams per kilometre. Now prices for these start at 18,495, so 18,500 pounds. That's for the SE. This is the top spec. This is the trophy. There's only 2 levels actually, and this one is 20,495. So we'll have a look around the car, we'll check the cargo capacity, we'll check the interior, and then of course we're going to take it for a drive.
A brown car guy. Brown car guy.
Right, so let's have a look at the boot space. It's not powered, but up it goes easily, and as you can see, it's not bad at all. It's about what you would expect, but I think it's probably a little bit more than your average Supermini. In fact, they say it's 293 litres of space. Now you've got tie hooks over there as well, so you can put your nets. And down here, you've got a little bit more room because you've got a little bit of a bin there just next to the battery. The regular battery, that is, not obviously the EV battery, but you've got a little bit of space there along with the tire repair kit where you can hide some extra stuff if you want to. There is your triangle, and then you've got a hook here, and you have a light here on this side, and that's pretty much it. Let's see what the rear space is like. Okay, this is actually my first time sitting in the back of this car. This seat is set for me. I'm about 6'2" with long legs, so you can see that actually it's a little bit tight, but there is still some room here. So, and of course this is compressed a little bit. This has got pockets on this one, and there's a little bit of room there, so that's not too bad. The bigger issue I have is this bit here for the shins, because that comes out a bit, so that does rob a little bit of room. And the foot room, no problem at all. So despite the fact this has got a bigger EV battery, which I don't know where it is, I'm assuming it's in the floor, but somehow it doesn't have the high floor problem that some of these cars have. Although generally it is a higher car. For a Supermini you do sit quite high, as we'll see when you're in the front, but there's no problem with the leg room. Over here you've got 2 vents. That's not bad, is it? There's actually 2 vents back here, and you've got a charger as well, a USB charger, and a little pocket. Just under there, there's a little pocket as well. Of course, you've got the pockets there. Now, being the trophy, it's got better specs. So these seats are sort of leather look. So they're leather style, is what they call them, with some cloth inserts. So this is sort of canvasy. This is leathery. This is quite nice. That bit there, if you can see. So that's quite good. And then you've got obviously the child seat, Isofix child seat anchor points. There is no central armrest. These headrests do come quite high, but they can obviously be taken out. And the seat back does fold, but it folds as one. So there's no split folding. It's one complete thing, so the whole thing falls down. I know that because I did do an airport run in it the other day. Dropped my son off when he had quite a lot of equipment that he was taking for a bit of work that he was doing, and we had to put the seats down to get all of that in, and that was fine. Okay, let's get in the front, see what that's like. Here we are. Check it out. So I don't know how this thing works. It appears to be on, but it's not actually on. But I guess because I just turned it off, so it probably stays on for a little while, I guess, until you lock the car. So anyway, this should be interesting. I should be able to show you what that looks like when I turn it on. The starter button is actually down here. So foot on the brake. Look at that. Now look at all of these. You see all of these warning lights that come up on there? Have you seen anything like that? Now there's no engine noise because it just started up in EV mode. And basically you've got two screens here. So you've got a 7-inch for the driver, and then you've got a 10.25 inch there. Obviously it's got full connectivity, as you can see here. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, there's your climate, radio, navigation. Now it's got remotes here and here, and this one actually operates the volume. This operates your trip computer. So if I press that, you'll see it's come up there, and then when I scroll through that, I can scroll through and it shows you next service, tire pressures, and then I can go up and down, and that gives you accumulated total. And EV kilowatt, what's it doing there? Mode, that's a drive mode, and they're operated from this button down here. So if I press that, you'll see that goes to sport, and I press it again, it goes to eco. Let's leave it in normal. There's how much range you've got, but that's obviously with fuel, so it's about half a tank. Your speed limit, time. This is all your cruise control stuff over here. And so these are the buttons for that. This is your voice control. You can actually set these up the way that you want. So these are customizable, the star buttons are customizable. This is all related to the cruise control, but the cruise control actually is operated from here. So over here you've got normal buttons. So this is the normal, if you press that, then you've got your full climate control system comes up there. You've got heated seats, you've got heated steering wheel, and the rest is there. You've got obviously the demisters. This is your volume control. This is your home screen. So you press that, goes back to home, which is also there as well. Navigation is there. Unnamed road, but you can see it's got nav built into it, obviously, as I told you. In fact, I'll go through some of the spec in a minute. Don't forget, this is the trophy version. Actually, let me do that first because there are some differences. Right, so as standard in this car, in the MG3, you get satellite navigation, you get Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, MG iSmart connectivity, and you get all of those. You get air conditioning, you get a 6-speaker audio system with obviously Bluetooth connectivity, 4 USBs, we'll go through those in a minute, and a rear parking sensor and a rear camera. You also get advanced driver assistance systems with MG Pilot. I'll go through that, but the MG Pilot includes lane keep assist, departure warning, adaptive cruise control in a little car like this, adaptive cruise control, forward collision warning, and traffic jam assist. So in a traffic jam, it will just creep forward by itself. This trophy version also has blind zone detection and lane change assist. LED headlights at the front, so I think you get the halogen headlights otherwise, but otherwise I think rear lights are both LEDs. Like I said, you get the leather style upholstery with the cloth inserts. Front passenger seat map pocket. I don't know what that means. Front passenger seat map pocket, whatever that is, it's on the list. I'm not sure what that is actually. Rear privacy glass, you can actually see it's quite dark. Actually, that's one of the things about this car in the front, it's quite dark in here. And then you've got a rain sensor wiper, you've got heated front seats, like I said, heated steering wheel, 360-degree camera. Now, I just want to show you, so let me just show you this first, because there's quite a bit to get through on the screen. Oops. But you have your cubby box there, steep, you can actually slide this back and forth, so you can close that segment, and then you've got a segment here which actually goes all the way through, and then you can kind of partition this the way you want to partition it, to pull that through that. So you can also have it like that if you want. This is a bit plasticky, it's a bit flimsy feeling, but you know, it works, it's fine. And then you've got your parking brake there, you've got your driving mode, that's your gear selector there, your cup holders, that also you can partition as you wish. And then you've got, this is not a wireless charging pad, could be, but it isn't in this case, but you do have USB there, and 12-volt power supply. You've got a glove box. It's not bad at all. You've got pretty deep pockets for the doors, you know, and this is really nice. This is a really sort of traditional MG kind of look about it that sort of harks back to the heritage of the brand. And this is all right. This is softish, and the screens are nice, and that's really soft. That's leather. But then you do have plastics here, but you know what? It's fine. That's leathery. That bit's leathery. And you got the vents there, which are very effective. Then you got the steering here, which is a square steering. So Morris. What am I thinking of? Allegro? Harks back to that. So you got the square steering wheel there. Over here you got door locks, you got lights, you got your, not lights, sorry, you got your wing mirror adjustments, and then you got 2 stalks for wipers, and then obviously for the lights as well. Now, like I said, buttons on the steering wheel, operate various things. The thing about the steering wheel, which actually has been causing me problems, is that you can adjust it for rake. So that's good, but you cannot adjust it for reach. So it's in a fixed position. Now, that's why you need to take this for a test drive, because for me it's a little bit problematic because I got long legs. I feel the need to put the seat quite far back. But then I find myself stretching my arms out. You see, like if you put your hand on the top there, the palm, I mean, that's just about okay because you still got a little bit of a bend there. But sometimes it feels a bit further. So my seating is quite upright. So I put my seat back upright. So for me, that's why I can do that. But for some people that prefer to have it back, that'll be a bit of a stretch. So make sure that you take it for a test drive. I have found it a little bit difficult to get comfortable in this car. It took me a while. I'm okay now, but it did take me a while to get comfortable in it. If we come back to this screen, because this is quite interesting, so let's look at the screen here, and we go, so actually if you do that, you've actually got all of these. So you've got your climate, radio, so in the radio you've got DAB, you can choose what channel you want to watch and all the rest of it, and music, USB, vehicle. So in the vehicle, you've got this, so MG Pilot. So this is where this section here, this is for your adaptive cruise control. It's actually operated from MG Pilot. So this is where intelligent drive, ACC is your adaptive cruise control. And then you've got various things that you can have there, front collision, alert sensitivity mode, all the rest of it. For driving, you've got this, your energy regeneration. So you actually got 3 levels of energy regen. So this is how much when you lift off, it slows by itself, so it's almost like an EV, like that one pedal mode where it's charging the battery. So that's what it does from there. I've got it on medium and you can actually operate these through this button that's actually been set up for it. So actually, if I go back to that, so in convenience, you see you can set the buttons up. So function for left wheel, button on the steering wheel, regenerative braking, and function for the right star button is the AC mode. Then you can also adjust how you want everything over here. Lighting, safety. Now there's something else, obviously that's that bit. Now in here you've got assist, lane change assist, rear crossing assist. Now, you know, you do get a bit of too much interference, I feel, somewhat. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I had to turn down the regen, because I just found it, and even now, like I was trying to show you, even the slow speeds, it judders a bit because it's not quite as smooth, because I don't know if it's trying to brake or whatever it's trying to do. And this one, I want to put this on low, just leave it on alert, because the steering kind of ruins the drive a little bit because it's constantly fighting you. There's no feel in it anyway, and then you feel like you're fighting it, so it doesn't make any sense. That pattern continues over here and over here, so that's quite nice. Anything else on here? The 360 camera, that's what I wanted to show you. That's right, vehicle, we've done that. So 360 camera, that one. Now this is really interesting because you've got obviously you've got the bird's eye 360 there, 360 there, missed out a bit there. You've got your front there, but you got your front wide angle, front view, and then where was the other? 3D, there you go, 3D. So you got the 3D view of the car, and actually then you can actually go around it. So you can actually move this around. Somehow the car shrinks. There's another video, or maybe I'll put it as an inset, where I'm walking around the car and my son was actually doing this while he was inside the car. And it's weird because the car was taking up the same amount of footprint as it was before, but I look like a giant compared to the car. The car looks like a toy. Anyway, that's kind of cool. And if you're like in a tight situation and want to see where you are, that's quite handy. Right, I'll tell you what. Let's take it for a drive. Sorry to interrupt the video, guys. Hope you're enjoying it. In the meantime, I wanted to tell you about this. It's my first novel, The Ulez Files. It's all about cars. It's for you guys. Get your copy now at Amazon.com. Okay, let's put it into drive and let's have a little go in this. Now, one thing I've got to say about this car straight away is that it's quite dark. And, you know, it's quite dark inside the car. So, and the rear visibility isn't the best out that way. So I do feel that it needs a kind of sunroof element to it, you know, because just to sort of, you know, this roof comes out quite low like this. And of course it does, this is the trophy edition, so it does obviously have, you know, the spec with the darkened rear windows. But even so, a sunroof, I think, would really help to pull it out. Now, I'll put it into sports mode. It's in sports mode now, and we've got a nice little road here. Now, one thing I will say is like the mid-range punch on this thing, like it's almost like an electric car. So actually, that was a higher speed. But when you're slower, it does feel a bit like an electric car. So like you're down here, sort of about 30, just under 25 miles an hour, punch it, and you can actually hear the electric motor. So you do get this kind of very EV type of performance from this vehicle, which is quite extraordinary. But it happens at that lower mid-range, it's only there. And of course off the line it's not bad as well. And off the line actually I can get it to chirp. So not that time, just into a corner, but sometimes you can really get the tires to spin up and it's quite a lot of fun. There is no feel in the steering. I've turned the aids off, so that really helps, because otherwise the steering just seems to be fighting you the whole time. There is quite a bit of play, as you can see, but it's actually fairly responsive and fairly accurate. So in that sense, it seems to work quite well. The square shape really doesn't take much getting used to. You know, you think, oh, what, that's a weird shape. If you like the push and pull, even that's not really a problem. It seems to work fine. Actually, the push and pull works better with this. The cross arm thing can be a little confusing because of the corners of the steering wheel. So, but other than that, it's fine. Like I said, the performance is great. The braking is actually very good, very linear, very strong, and it does so. At these sort of speeds, the braking works really well. I would say that at lower speeds, sometimes the braking is not so great, because again, it's the thing that it's doing between the regen and stuff. Now I think I've got it on the lowest regen right now as well. So, oh, look at, I know it says 0 to 62 8 seconds on paper, but in reality it feels quicker. I've got to be honest, you know, it feels a bit quicker. It feels quite punchy, almost hot hatches, you know, it's hatchish, I should say, is how it feels, and that's got to be a good thing, right? So the performance element is there. The brakes are pretty reassuring, so you know, like, you know, you can use them, and then, you know, you can throw it into a corner. There you go, a little bit of tire chirp there, but it holds its line. I mean, it really is reluctant to do anything like understeer. It will hold the road tightly, it grips tightly. So really good in that sense. You know, I am not telling you that this is a performance hot hatch. It's not. There's a warning from the steering again, so I thought maybe it's just detected something there, or maybe it's come back on, I'm not sure. Anyway, it's not really that, but it is something that you can still have a bit of fun with. And if you find yourselves on road like these and you go, okay, well, you know, there's a little bit of fun to be had and I can open it up a little bit, well, it's just showing me that I'm just slightly over. So again, black bars, and you can hear the engine comes in. There's a little bit of disconnect between the engine noise and what the car is doing, but also because the response is not quite instant, but it is there, it does happen. But again, you know, yeah, I mean, just the slightest hint of understeer, only because I really shoved it into that corner, but honestly, it holds the line very well. So in that sense, it's really good. Now, what about the ride? Well, I'm just turning onto what I know to be one of the worst roads in terms of surface that I know of, and it's pretty quiet. So you'll probably see me, it started already. You'll probably see me being bounced up and down. Now again, I mean again, it's like the weight is down on this car. It's down below because of the low center of gravity, because of the battery pack, and there is a kind of stiffness to it. But it doesn't bump thump. It's just kind of like it pulls you down, pulls you back up again. So it's not jarring. It's like you can feel that the road surface is a bit awkward. You can feel that, but it's not jarring. So, and obviously on a smooth road, it's perfectly fine. The smaller wheels, I guess, probably help. I don't think they're, incredibly low profile or anything like that. So I think in that sense, they're quite good. And again, you see, I'm really sort of being bounced up and down there, but it's not really too much of an issue. So the visibility down at the front, like I said, I mean, the bonnet just goes right down, so you don't really see what's going on. At the rear, it's quite, one of the things that would be really, really good is that camera system on it is absolutely brilliant, but you have to go into the menu. Or you can, sometimes at lower speeds, you press it. It's weird because like now, it won't do it. Like, so now it's done it. So now the 3D digital thing has come up. It's showing me exactly where the curb is. It's showing me exactly what, but then it's cut out again at speed. So I think there's a certain speed thing, maybe 20 miles per hour, where it cuts out again. But it would be actually really useful to have, or maybe, I don't know if you can configure one of these star buttons, to have an instant, like bang, I've got the camera. So like when you're exiting car parks, or when you're coming into park next to a curb or something like that, immediately you can hit that button and you've got the camera will come up and will show you, where you are, what you're doing, sort of thing. I've been listening to the stereo. It's okay, it's not bad at all actually, and the DAB works really well, and of course you can play songs off your phone and stuff like that, so that's quite useful. I took it on the motorway, as I mentioned, and it was very smooth. I mean, it cuts a very fine shape through the air, so there's very little disturbance. It's very settled, it's very composed. And although, like, when you throw it around, you can see the body moves around, but actually it's very composed. But certainly when you're slicing through the air, I think because of the sleek shape, the aerodynamic shape, it does tend to not ruffle the airflow very much and cuts a very serene shape through it. So that's quite good. But again, like that ability to just punch it is kind of hilarious, really. And the other thing is, like, you're not going that fast when you're having a bit of fun with it either. So that's actually quite handy. And around town, I should just mention, of course, I mean, with this review, I'm just driving outside, but I did spend a lot of time driving actually through London the other day in very heavy traffic, and I didn't unfortunately use the traffic jam assist system, which I suppose you could use, but even so, it wasn't as tiring as I was expecting that journey to be, because I knew I was going to hit rush hour, I knew I was going to be in the middle of London, and so I knew that it was going to be quite a torturous journey home. It took actually 2.5 hours, but at the end of it, you think, oh God, and of course, those kind of things are draining, but overall, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be, because it's a comfortable ride and a fairly easy car to drive. So overall, thumbs up for the MG3. What I would say is try it for size first to make sure that you fit comfortably in it. Put your family in it as well if you have one and you're going to use it for them, to make sure that they're comfortable in it, and also with they don't feel claustrophobic or stuff like that. It's not the airiest of cars in that sense. But other than that, thumbs up. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next video. Shout out time, guys. Thank you so much. Hey, if you enjoy my content, why not get involved? Buy me a coffee. You can do that at either of these links, or if you're watching on YouTube, buy me a thanks or take out a membership. It all helps. It really does.